Hi everyone, and if you're watching this today, it's Happy Easter Monday. um, I'm back with another pick a card reading, as you can see, and this one is going to be on. It's a message from the Oracle because I'm using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, one card and a few other cards as well. Um, that. So we're just gonna see what comes up. We're gonna look at the message for you that's important right now at this moment in time, and also one card to have a look at what you shouldn't do or say or behave or whatever. Because I always feel that's also important to know what you shouldn't do anymore or all that stuff. That's important. Anyhow, three choices. The first one here is a golden healer, a Celtic golden healer, is from Wales, and these are not mined, they are just found. People go looking for them in rocky, mountainous areas, and they're just found. And they have a very lovely, happy energy. You don't really come across it very often. So that's numbers one. Numbers two is flower agate from Madagascar, and numbers three is a beautiful golden obsidian heart. And you can actually see the golden shine. So just feel into it, which is for you. There is one card from each set as well in the back, so maybe you prefer to focus on that and feel, and just make your choice, and I will see you at your reading. Right, numbers one, your first two cards with the message that it's about, the message of the Oracle, the message of what you should know, do, right now, at this moment in time. And the main message is this card from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, and this one is an extra card to see if that comes together, and just a bit of a clarifier card if need be. And then the building blocks, the first card, that actually says, as you can see, that you have made a wonderful, strong foundation. It's a new foundation as well. And built from these blocks, these building blocks that are imbued by your dreams and what you want, your energy as well. It's basically the stage where you have let go of anything in your foundation that doesn't serve you. It's like building a completely new version of, well, possibly you, but it can also be for a new career or a new way of being in relationships, connections, love relationships, building a business maybe. It can be just anything, and maybe for you it's everything. And I think for many who chose this, it actually is about almost everything in your life and almost everything about you, like a transformation. And so this foundation is already really very strong, but certain blocks are still falling into place, as you can see here as well. So it's and that's where this card comes in. Ostara isn't that peculiar because it was Easter, right? Yesterday, and then we have Ostara Easter card and incubation. So this card says that it's that everything is in place, right? And the seeds have been sown and it's growing beautifully, and you can see that here as well. But it's not yet flowering. So, but it's growing, it's coming. But you have to be a little bit patient and just let it unfold and let it grow and come to you, and because as you can see here too, the blocks there are still falling in place, right? So that goes together really well. It's not done yet, but it's happening, and you should be able to feel that as well, that you actually have changed a lot or are changing a lot, that you are going through a transformation, because or there is so much already that has been done, right? There's an entire new foundation has been built already by you, and maybe you actively did certain things, but sometimes it's also just changing, yeah, yourself, inner changes more on a subconscious level, unconscious level. That and yeah, so it's likely to be a mixture of that. I think it's mostly always that way, that some things are really consciously done and chosen, and other things is more unconsciously, subconsciously. But anyhow, this is what's going on for you. So just continue, even if you maybe at some time find yourself thinking like, well, I don't see anything yet. I don't see the result of it yet. It's not flowering yet. It's not manifesting. It's where is it? When is it going to happen? Well, that's where you have to have this patience a little bit, because it is happening, and certain things you probably already can see, because the Ostara is the time where you can already see certain things come above ground that you have sown earlier on with Imbolc. So you probably already can see certain things, but it's not flowering yet. So you might get a little bit impatient every now and then, but just then focus on what you already have achieved and what is happening already in your life, what is changing within you or in your world, depending on what it is about for you. I think that's my cute little kitten. Hey, sweetie. She just wanted to be indoors, hang about. Right, and let's look at your last card. This is what you shouldn't do anymore. This is the Dark Goddess Oracle card deck. And we have the Morrigan, one of my favorite goddesses from the Celtic pantheon. Anyhow, the Morrigan, she was a warrior battle goddess, as you can clearly see here as well, right? And her message of what you shouldn't do anymore is be very reactive. So maybe sometimes you will have to stand up for yourself. That's perfectly normal, and it can even be expected if you're going through a big transformation, doing things differently, wanting different things maybe, and so on and so forth. Then maybe you get some resistance from people around you, and but then don't be reactive like the Morgan here in this image, like and lash out and all that stuff. You can stand up for yourself, but do it in a gentle way, in a calm way, in a loving way, because that's also another aspect of the Morrigan. The Morrigan in Celtic lore was usually this war goddess that you see here, named the Morrigan, but she's actually a triple goddess, and also called the Mother Goddess. And she has this wisdom side as well. She's also a healer. She is Morgaine from the Avalon story, Arthurian legend. That's also this same person, deity, goddess. And so she has that side as well. It's just that the Celts chose to basically tune into this fighting warrior goddess aspect of her, and she is extremely powerful. Yeah, I have worked myself for a while with the Morgan when I was going through my let's call that dark night of the soul, investigating my own dark side, my shadows, etc. She is so powerful when you tune into her. It's almost it's scary almost, But she also has this healing side and this wise aspect. So that's how you can react whenever there is a, kind of like a conflict situation, or people resisting what you now are building or doing or wanting. And I think that maybe this reactive knee-jerk side is a subconscious program that maybe you created when you were younger as a survival strategy, but it's not necessary anymore because it is that side is not part of this new foundation that you have built and are still building. It can't be part of that, otherwise it's not new, right? It's something that you have basically already have let go of, but maybe sometimes when you get triggered, it still comes up because it's a program in the subconscious that's running still. So you have to be mindful of that. Just take a deep breath or walk away or count to 10. No matter how hard that is when there is a conflict situation or people are arguing with you about what you want, etc., etc. And just do not do it. Don't react that way. And begin to train yourself to react and respond and deal with these situations in a more calm, wise way. And sometimes that actually does mean just walking away because it's not worth your time and energy to get into an argument or whatever. So this is what you shouldn't do, what you must be mindful of, and then just focus on the other stuff, right? What's gestating, what's coming above ground already, even though it's not flowering. Focus on the positive. Shift your focus from this side, the warrior fighting and reactive side, to the positive new, and then it will all work out. You're on the road to something beautiful. So that's what I have for you. I do hope it's helpful and resonates, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Right, numbers 2, your cards, the first 2 cards with your message. This is the message of the Oracle, and this is an extra message, basically to see if this goes together, right? Or to clarify, to bring more depth to the message. And we have Truth Be Told and Altar. And Truth Be Told says that there is basically the truth, and there is also a truth, or maybe your truth. You can also see it that way. And that's what this is about. Like, it's for you, the message that is the message for you. That it's time that you speak your truth. That you, in situations where that's called for, that you speak your mind, tell people what you want, what you need, what your truth is. And that can be different from anyone else's truth, right? But that's okay. And in a way, that's not really your problem. And I'm saying that because it's maybe you have been have had a tendency to follow other people's truth, and or what's done in a society or whatever, and with that maybe digress from your own inner truth, of how you feel about it, how you need it to be, how you want it for you, right? Doesn't mean to say that everyone else has to do that, but it's your truth and how you can get fulfilled and happiness and so on and so forth. And then the altar card says that everything, you have everything, all ingredients that are needed to bring them to the table, to manifest, do, be, have whatever it is you want and need. So your truth, again, right? You have it. So it's really a time now to, again, speak your mind, to be clear about that, and to not follow other people's lead or truth. Maybe because you are doubting, maybe you're doubting yourself, maybe you're doubting what you really want to do, have, or be. And it's time to now let go of that indecision, because you have all that is required, all that is needed to do it. So yeah, it's really time now for you to decide upon your path and commit to that, because it's also dedication, right? So it's also about committing to that. So yeah, these two cards really enhance each other, right? They come up with the same message in the sense, and so and then also follow through, right? By dedicating to your choice, and be clear about that. It's like you see the owl doing that in a card. He's opening the windows, right? And it's basically his heart, where the heart is, and speak your heart, and let it out, and in a calm, wise, loving fashion, because the owl is also wise, a symbol of wisdom, right? And no more masks. You drop the masks, and there's love. These hearts, I think they're supposed to be hearts. I'm not entirely certain, but they come out. So it's done in a calm fashion, but completely open and transparent, showing what you need, and yeah, and what you stand for, maybe, and you can do it. That's what the altar is saying. You have it all, and you can just do it. So just make that decision, make your choice, and dedicate to that choice. And Bob is your uncle, as they say in England. Okay. Right, and then we have your card to see what you have to stop doing or should not do, be mindful of. And then we have Maeve and determination, it says at the bottom. And her message for you is that you basically haven't been making your own decisions. You haven't been at the wheel, at the controls of your life. And that's what you have to stop doing. So that completely goes with the other two cards. And it's not that you didn't have the ability, or that you didn't have the dedication or determination to take over control of your own life. But it's just as if you decided to let others take the lead, maybe because you felt that was easier, or and so you've just been following the herd. And then that goes back to this truth, right? You've been following likely other people's truth, or a society's truth. And in a way that can be easier, but sometimes it doesn't really fulfill us. It doesn't make us happy if it's not what we actually want ourselves. And now it's really time for you to stop doing this, to stop following what other people want or say or do, and just take over the steering wheel of your own life and do it yourself. You can do it. We've seen that with the altar, but also with this card, the message is also that you can do it. You have the determination, you have the abilities. It was just for some reason or other, you decided to not do it. And that's what you have to stop. So it basically enhances the other two cards again, that yeah, you have to start doing it. You have to start living your own truth, your own way of life, of being, or yeah, it will be different for everyone because it's not a personal reading, of course, but whatever it is about for you, you have to start doing your own thing. And that can also be in love relationships or in friendships, being maybe more yourself, who you really are. Yeah. So this is basically what I have for you, and just do it. That's all I can say, because that's what the cards say. Just do it. You can do it. It should be really easy for you to do it. Maybe it's just a decision of flicking the switch, like, okay, I'm becoming more active, and I'm not going to be, maybe you were just kind of a little bit lazy or something, like I said, it's easy to follow the herd and what everyone else does, but think about it, is it truly fulfilling you? And if you start doing it differently, just think of the joy it will bring you, the happiness and the fulfillment. So that is your message, and I hope it resonates, and it's short and sweet, but actually that's also quite nice for a change. But the message was really good. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Have a lovely day. Bye. Right, number 3, your first 2 cards. These are the 2 cards, the messages of the Oracle. That one, and this is hopefully, and it is going to enhance that one. It's just kind of like a clarifier card, bring more depth to the first card. And we have By the Book and Homeland Foundation. And by the book, that the message for you of the Oracle is that there are laws and certain structures, and there are natural laws, right? Universal laws like the law of attraction and the law of karma and all that stuff. But also society has has rules, even unwritten rules and structures, and these structures make life easier, although sometimes we might find them restrictive, but they do make life easier, but they also bring harmony, right? Because there is an order to doing things, to going about things. And for you right now, it is important that you go by these structures that are already in place, by the rules, just the structure. How far that goes might vary for everyone, depending on what's going on in your life at the moment, and it's not a personal reading, so I do not know. For some it might be more the basic structure, almost like the blueprint of the society, to not try to reinvent the wheel at this moment in time, because why bother? It's already been invented. Make use of that for whatever it is you want or need. And for others it might be slightly more intense, in the sense to not go against the rules. So again, that depends on what's going on in life for you at the moment. And but in any case, make use of the structures and the rules and the order, let me put it that way. Like, rules is already like, most people feel the resistance when it's rules, like, while order is basically harmony, and use that to do whatever it is that you need, or that you want, or or that is helpful to you. And yeah, that is really very important right now, because it's sometimes it's good to go against these things, but this is not such a time for you. Now it's time to just go by the book then, so to speak, like it says on the card. And it will do you more good at this moment. I'm not saying that this is for the rest of your life, but right now, this moment, this is going to be beneficial to you. And then also we have a homeland, and I felt immediately that these are very similar. The message of this card is that it's very helpful to you right now to look at your roots, where you come from. And that can be literally the town or village or whatever that you come from, the country, or your family. And then again, you can go to the rules and regulations and the structure, the blueprint of the family that you came from. It's really, for now, important to and that will to look at that, to what is your blueprint? Who are you actually really? And what can you do with that? Maybe there are things in there that you then find out, like, okay, I don't want that. And it was good that I experienced that, or that was in my life, or whatever. But I don't want that anymore. I don't need that, because for me it's not helpful. Maybe you find that actually things that you thought were like horrible or whatever, that not pleasant, that actually is really quite helpful. Because it does bring harmony, and or it does bring a structure or whatever in your life. It's for whatever reason, it's good for you right now to just look at that. And it can also be even from a past life. So if you, for instance, have feel drawn to a certain country or a certain area, or maybe a certain people like the Native Americans or Aborigines or anything like that, then maybe it's important for you to look into that right now. And this can be quite a thing to do, quite a process to look into that, to dive into that. And then if it is quite a thing, then it's helpful to at the same time be doing this, right? To not be rebelling and against order and structures and all that stuff, but because then it's too much. If you do this, it's much easier to then at the same time go deep, because this is gonna be easy. This is gonna just following the order, and no chaos, because this might be chaos enough. Maybe it doesn't have to be. Might also be really good to look into things. Very helpful. Sometimes it's really, really very helpful to do that. And especially if you want to move to something different in your life. If you and that can be a literal move, but it can also be a change within. Then you almost always need this thing to go through that phase, to look at where you come from, who you are really. That's what it's about. And especially I feel that's enhanced with this card, Inanna. This is what you shouldn't do anymore. We have Inanna seduction. And as you can see, she's a very, very beautiful woman, very attractive, very appealing. So it's also very easy for her to use that to get things that she wants, right? And to seduce people, to do stuff for her, to sort out her problems so she doesn't have to do it herself. I'm not saying that she actually did that, right? But it's very easy to use that attractiveness, that appeal, that charm to get things done and to make your life easier. But then are you then being yourself? Are you then actually being true to your own nature? Is it fulfilling even? And that's why I feel this is so important. Because maybe you have indeed been doing this, and I'm not saying you have been using your body, for instance, to seduce and manipulate, etc. It can be different as well. Let me give you an example. I know someone who was always a woman, an adult, and close to her 50s, and a mother, single mother, divorced, etc. And she was always perceived, still is, by men as like a girl. And that's a thing from her past, from her family. She, as a little girl, and she was perceived that way and treated that way, and she was so. And she actually, subconsciously, she wasn't really aware of it, she was using that to get things done, because her life wasn't always very easy, being divorced and cheated on and all that stuff. She had quite a difficult past. And so then I suppose it's kind of like a survival strategy from childhood. And she was subconsciously, unconsciously using that little girl aspect to make her life easier. But then you are not being true to who you really are. You're actually doing this, right? You are going along with an image that people perceive, and you deliberately, unconsciously, but still keep projecting that image. So, because it's helpful to you, it makes your life easier. But at the same time, you're never truly yourself, and you will never truly get fulfilled. Because how can you get fulfilled if you're presenting yourself as not really you? right? And so it doesn't necessarily have to be like you're going about being dressed sexy and all that stuff like this, right? So please bear that in mind. It can be on very different levels as well. And that's why it's important for you to do this. Who are you? What are your roots? Where do you come from? What do you stand for? Who do you really want to be? Who are you really? So you can stop projecting someone or an image or a reputation or whatever that isn't really you. And I'll give you a quick other example so maybe you can relate better to it. It can also be that, like in childhood, for instance, you were perceived as the funny one. Let's go for that, the funny one, and then you found out that by being funny in that moment as a child, like, oh, okay, now I'm part of a group. People like me when I'm funny, and yeah, and then you subconsciously store that and it becomes a program, and then you become the funny person, and you live that all your life. In when socializing, that like when your friends see you, they feel like, oh, now it's gonna be great because she has arrived, and then, oh wow, now we're gonna have a lot of fun, right? And maybe that's not even you. But it was just a thing that happened when you were a child, and that worked. It got you attention. It got you a sense of being something, and and people liked it. Everyone laughed, and you just subconsciously began being that. Well, maybe you're not that funny person at all. Maybe you're something. It's basically the sad story of the clown, right? Like the tears of a clown. He puts on that paint and all that stuff and the outfits to be this jolly figure, and when he takes it off, when he's done, he's actually very lonely and very sad, and no one ever sees him. And that's also a problem with, if you happen to be very pretty or attractive physically, or you have that aura, people usually do not see who you are. That's a really big problem for good looking people often, that everyone just sees that outer shell and is attracted to that outer shell, but no one is really interested in the real person behind that on the inside. And for you, that's the message, to not do that anymore, to be yourself and to find out who that is. Who are you? What do you want? What do you stand for? How do you want to be? Who do you want to be? And so on and so forth. So sorry for that lengthy stuff with the examples, but I just wanted to be clear so that you don't think, oh right, well, I'm not that person who's going about in half naked or whatever. I just want that to be clear, that it can be entirely different. Anyhow, thank you for watching, and I do hope it resonates and is helpful to you, and I'm wishing you a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.